Roswell, New Mexico. Local headlines announced shocking news. The Army Air Force reported they had captured a flying saucer. Debris was found on a nearby ranch in Corona.
This building here, building number 84, is a building I believe that they brought materials from the Corona crash and stored them in here temporarily.
Major Jesse Marcel Sr., the base's chief intelligence officer, recovered the wreckage and took it to headquarters. But when papers published the news of the UFO crash, the military changed its story.
By the time the B-29 with Jesse Marcel and some of the wreckage got to the headquarters 2 hours after they left in Fort Worth, Texas, the fix was already in to kill the story.
The second press release stated the wreckage came from a weather balloon. Somehow, one of the most significant UFO sightings became an ordinary weather balloon. Some experts feel Brigadier General Roger Ramey, the base commander, ordered a massive cover-up.
And what he did was arrange for the wreckage of a weather balloon, the radar reflector on a weather balloon.
Right before Marcel died, he allegedly told Walter Haut the truth. The weather balloon story was a lie. An alien spacecraft really did crash near Roswell.
He made statements to the effect that it was nothing of this world. It couldn't be bent, torn, cut, pierced, burned. He went through a whole list of them. He said, we just don't have the technology to produce material like I brought in from that ranch.
And some UFO experts maintain that a mid-air collision caused a second crash that day, 200 miles from Roswell.
When I first came up to the craft, the creatures were laying like this in a line, side by side. And the live one was over here.
When he was 5 years old, Gerald Anderson says he came face to face with an extraterrestrial.
And my dad was kind of right about here, and he was sitting like this. My Uncle Ted was standing more over here, kind of leaned over like this, and they were talking to this creature.
He describes the aliens as 4 feet tall, with gray skin, large eyes, and thin arms. 2 of them were dead. 1 was dying, but 1 was still alive, trying to communicate.
Then just suddenly he turned and he looked at me. And when that happened, all kinds of things just started happening inside my head. I started getting sensations of tumbling and falling and an awful loneliness, like there was no way he could possibly get back to where he came from.
Witnesses say the military soon showed up and threatened any civilian who went public with the amazing story. But now, many of them are speaking out.
We have testimony from over 200 people concerned with these events, people who handled the wreckage, people who described the bodies, people who had direct orders, military orders, to do this, that, or the other thing. We have consistent testimony that in a court of law would convict anybody of a crime.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where ufologists believe the military took the Roswell crash debris.
Well, recently we investigated the rumors about Hangar 18 and in particular the Roswell connection to Wright-Pat.
The military claimed they brought a crashed weather balloon to Wright-Patterson.
What happened to it? We couldn't find any record of that. We found that was sort of interesting.
Experts maintained that the crash wreckage was stored in the base's secret tunnels, the exact spot where Officer Jack Donahoe claimed he saw an alien autopsy.
My Uncle Jack had a top secret security clearance when he worked at Wright-Patterson a complete time. The strangest story that he ever accounted to me was the day that he asked me if I had heard of a UFO crash out in Phoenix, Arizona. He said, we have the bodies from the crash.
Donahoe allegedly went to a secret room where a scientist was working on a dead body. It wasn't human.
There was a stainless steel table in this room that was arranged a little bit like a laboratory. The man said, "Look at this." Jack looked at the body. Jack told me that at the time they were doing full autopsies on the bodies. The head was shaped basically like a human head, only it was small. He said, "We better not spend very much time here," and they left the room. I tried to bring it up at a later date. He said, "Forget him. Just forget about the whole incident."
Well, there are still people that absolutely believe that alien bodies and UFO wreckage are still here on this base, and that the bodies are kept in cryogenic suspension somewhere underneath Wright Field.
They had 30 alien bodies underground at Wright-Patterson Field alone.
Witnesses state that scientists performed anatomical research on the aliens for years.